All right, people. So we are now into the month of October, which is quite a busy month, it has to be said. So we've a lot of fights. We have a fight on this week. We have, obviously, the fight we're going to talk about in this video. It's not a prediction video. It's just to talk about Dave Allen and the shape, the particularly good shape he is looking in. But we have that next week. Boots, I think, next week as well. Then we have George Liddard versus Kieran Conway. That's a bit of a sleeper fight, as in like it's gone under the radar. That's going to be a good scrap, I believe. Then obviously it culminates with Joseph Parker versus Fabio Wardley at the end of the month. Now, what I want to do in this video is, again, I'll give my preview and prediction on this fight probably on Sunday. Probably record it on Saturday, upload it on Sunday, thereabouts. But I want to give my 2 cents on the shape that Dave Allen is looking in for this fight. Because throughout his career, Dave Allen has really... If there's been one consistency, it's his lack of consistency in terms of the shape he's in terms of, fluctuations in weight and stuff like that, I mean, to put it in context, right? In March of 2018, he fought Lenroy Thomas. And that was a rematch for the Commonwealth title because he obviously lost the first fight. Very close fight, but he lost it, right? And then did a rematch. He was well over a stone lighter because against Lenroy Thomas in the first fight, he was 250. He was 236 against Lenroy Thomas in the rematch. And he looked in good shape, Dave Allen. He did. And it's unfortunate because there was a clash of heads early on in the first round. Ultimately, it meant that the fight was ruled a technical draw, which, all right, you can rule it a technical draw if you want, but it was done in a round. And it ultimately meant that Dave Allen never got the chance to right that wrong. Because I think Lenroy Thomas in his next fight fought Joe Joyce, who I think he got blasted out in a round or two by Joe Joyce. I remember it well, actually. I think it was on I think it was in the Bellew Hay Undercard. I think it might have been on that. That was in March of 2018. 2 months later, 2 months, right, he fights David Howe in the town hall in Warsaw, and he was 272. Like in 2 months, he's packed on, as near as makes no difference, 40 pounds. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So Allen is someone who has definitely struggled to stay consistent in terms of fighting shape throughout the course of his career. And in some cases, I think that has come back to bite him. Like an example would be probably the Lenroy Thomas fight, the first fight. Lenroy Thomas, a very limited heavyweight, very limited. And I say that because Dave Allen is, look, he's never going to win a world title. I think he'd even acknowledge that, right? But is he useful at a certain level, like domestic level? I would say, yeah. I would say at domestic level, certainly the way it was back then, you could have picked up a Commonwealth title. You could have picked up a British title. At the end of the day, I think Sam Sexton was British champion in 2018, 2019. Sam Sexton was never that good. Sam Sexton was a very limited fighter. So that was someone who was British champion. Gary Cornish, people like that. They're people Dave Allen had the beating of. He really did. He had the beating of those guys. So he could have probably done something back then. But it was just the fact that he had inconsistencies. And he took fights like against Tony Yoka on relatively short notice when he was clearly not in shape and took a beating. I mean, that Tony Yoka fight, it's between that and the David Price fight for Dave Allen's worst beatings. Because that Tony Yoka fight was very difficult to watch after a certain point. And Allen said on his YouTube channel, and he said in the past, that he doesn't like Tony Yoka. I can't really disagree with him on it, to be honest with you, because the fact that Tony Yoka's never shown punching power like that before, since, and that coincided with a time when Tony Yoka, he didn't fail anything, but he was missing PED tests. I mean, make it out what you will. So I would say that he was, again, making any accusations, but, I would say there was a reason why he missed them. So Dave Allen has a right to feel aggrieved, to be fair. But again, he took that fight and he was 260. He wasn't really in shape. So him not being in shape has been something that's kind of followed throughout the course of his career. He's always kind of fluctuated. And even in his last fight against Johnny Fisher, right, he was 265. And by his own admission, and he said that after the fact, that, yeah, although he trained hard for the fight, he didn't diet properly, right? So dieting the right weight, it's always been a bit of an issue with Dave Allen. Didn't cost him against Johnny Fisher. He beat Johnny Fisher first time. I know officially it's down as a split decision loss. He won that fight. Let's not beat around the bush. He beat Johnny Fisher. It was pretty handy for Dave Allen, to be honest with you. It was close. It was a close fight in terms of the 95-94 scorecard in Allen's favour is about right. I know you'd say it's only 1 point, but every round Dave Allen won, he won big, including the knockdown. So he beat Johnny Fisher, and then he stopped him in the copper box back in May in good fashion. Johnny Fisher, nothing against Johnny Fisher. I am not going to knock him in the slightest. He's trying to do what he's trying to do. All the best of luck to him. He has my 100% support. All the best to him. But I just think he's a very limited fighter, extremely limited, and is more of that a gimmick. Now, Dave Allen goes into this fight with Arslanbek Makhmudov, who himself, Makhmudov was an interesting one because he did look good. He was the first guy, I believe, he wasn't the first guy to stop Mariusvac, but I believe he was the first guy to drop him legitimately. Got wins over Erkan Teper, Pavel Sowers. I mean, Jonathan Rice. And Jonathan Rice is not amazing, but he's decent, if nothing else. Manuel Azik Nazarate, people like that. These are journeymen that, are well-known journeymen in the heavyweight scene. Beat up Carlos Takam, had Carlos Takam down a couple of times. Takam would go on to beat Tony Oka after that fight, so Takam still had a lot left. So going into the fight he had against Kabayel, he was looking good. And it subsequently has emerged that he's a very limited fighter. He's been stopped to the body. He's been stopped on cuts, I believe, as well. So, yeah, a limited fighter is Arslanbek Makhmudov. Very slow, 36 years old. But goddamn can he punch. And goddamn is he on his... Put it like this, right? Dave Allen 2 years ago, wasn't it? Or was it a year or so ago? It was, 2 years ago, lost to Fraser Clark. That was not a competitive fight at all. I would have to say I think Arslanbek Makhmudov is better than Fraser Clark. But Dave Allen wasn't in the best shape in that fight. It has to be said. Don't know if that would have made much of a difference on the night if he had been, if he hadn't been. But let's just say it did, right? I think Dave Allen, looking at the shape he's in, and he does look in good shape. But again, looks can be deceiving. How many times have we seen heavyweights look in pictures, look in good shape, stand there in front of the camera? Andy Ruiz, I'm thinking of you, mate. I mean, those girls on Tinder, they ain't got nothing on you for catfishing. And believe me, they are bad. So I do wonder, how good a shape is Dave Allen in. He looks in good shape, but there is worries, right? He uploaded a picture of himself in a sweatsuit. Now, I've said this before. I said it about Martin Bacoli, who's an even more extreme example than Dave Allen because he's a much better fighter and he really can keep himself in shape. He was doing that in the run-up to his fight against F.A. Ajagba. And I was like, why on earth, as a heavyweight, would you be in a sweatsuit? It just doesn't make any sense. And Jamie Moore, who is a very, very good trainer, I'm not knocking him, but if you look at his list of fighters he's trained, I'm not recalling any heavyweights on there. And it's very different training a heavyweight as opposed to training a welterweight or even a cruiserweight to an extent, because you're still training these fighters to make and get down to a weight. As a heavyweight, you want to have him fight at peak weight. You want to have him fight at an optimum weight. And maybe Dave Allen's optimum weight is in the 240s, right? But by what means is he getting to it, if you know what I mean? So it's all well and good, because only a couple of months ago, maybe 2 months ago, there was a pic of Dave Allen or a clip of Dave Allen shadow boxing out in his back garden. And honest to God, his gut was protruding like hell. Now, that could be gone now, but in 2 months to just do a crash diet like that, that's going to leave you depleted. And that's been a problem with Dave Allen throughout the course of his career as well. Going on these crash diets, cutting down from, say, 260 into the 240s in like that. He's been saying in post-fights, I felt weak. Well, yeah, you would feel weak. I mean, it's obvious. You need to let your body... If you want to fight at 240, you need to stick around, in around and close to that weight, and you need to do it the right way, not just rush and be like, boom, it's gone. So that does have me worried for Dave Allen in this fight, I'm not going to lie. Because Dave Allen is a good body puncher. I'll do my prediction video on this fight on Saturday or Sunday, and you'll hear more kind of in depth on it. But I am worried that maybe Dave Allen is maybe taking too much off too soon and maybe doing it the wrong way. Because I really don't like it when I see, especially heavyweights, in those sweatsuits. Because when you have fighters, again, who are making weight, a lot of those fighters overtrain. And I think one of the reasons why they're not as hampered by overtraining is because they're both doing it. They're both trying to cut a lot of weight. They're both trying to, artificially dehydrate themselves and, take all this water weight off. They're both probably overtrained and they're both probably knackered. But, it's even Stevens, right? When you're talking about heavyweights who don't have to cut weight, I mean, you're not trying to take water weight off. You're not, you know what I mean? So, if you've overtrained to get down, you're going to have nothing left on fight night. So I do worry with Dave Allen, is it going back to the one extreme to another? either you're too heavy this one particular fight or you're too light this next fight. That's what I think could be happening here. But look, I like this fight. I think it's interesting. What's the undercard like again? Let's just have a quick look. Oh yeah, Josh Padley versus Reese. That's actually a decent scrap, to be fair. Josh Padley, Reese Bellotti, that'd be good. Leo Watang's on there. Have to keep an eye on Leo Watang. Haven't really seen that much of him, but apparently he's looking good. He's like Eddie Hearn's answer to Moses Atauma. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. Let me know yours in the comment section below. For now, people, I will leave it there. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you could, smash the like button, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. We will be doing, I should have said at the start, but we will be doing a live later on this evening. I need to figure out kind of what subject we'll talk about, but we'll talk about something. And yeah, it's kind of like a late birthday live because I didn't get a chance. Yesterday was a bit of a crazy day, so I didn't have a chance to do really anything. So today we will do it. Hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like button, all that good stuff. Peace.